All right, we are live. Great day, everyone. Great day. How is everyone doing? I hope that you are having an amazing day. So, we are on tonight with our guest, Tamika Harden. She is going to come and pour into you, amplifying her voice with her story. So, I am Coach Santeresa Wilson. I'm a trauma recovery coach, and we have created this platform so that it'll be able to help you through whatever issues or trauma that you feel that you are going through, that you have gone through, that you feel that you are stuck in. So I just want to welcome you just for tuning in and for listening to us on today. So without delay, because I can get chatty, y'all know that already. And if you don't know, you will learn it very soon. So without delay, Tamika, can you introduce yourself, tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about you?
Hello, everyone. I am Tamika Harden, certified personal trainer, life coach, body makeover specialist, the go to person if you are trying to transform your body from the inside out, is really my approach. So I do all of that in a nutshell, just really helping people start their journey to a new them.
Wow. I like that body transformation. A lot of people say that, right? They like, oh, we're body transformation. You're like, okay, what do you do? They're like, I don't know. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because you said from the inside out, right? And I think that that's essential to know, especially because I had the weight loss surgery. So a lot of people feel as if, um, if I'm losing weight on the outside, that's going to really count or make a difference. And I know that people always say it's a mindset change. So if you want to elaborate a little bit more on the inside out.
Yes. So when someone starts a weight loss journey, when I say from the inside out, I try to tell clients to embrace a lifestyle change in general. It's not only physical, it's also mental, spiritual, because your mental and spiritual and physical well being, it all ties in and intertwined together. So when people start a journey of change, I try to get them to tap into all aspects of what that is going to look like. So the inner self has to be ready to be motivated to take on this journey. The emotional self has to be ready to take on what's next and understand what that may look like or what the reactions may be. The physical self has to be ready for the activities involved. So when people come to me for a body makeover transformation, my goal is really to help them to tap into all aspects of their self and to work on change from the emotional standpoint, from the mindset standpoint, and filter that into the physical standpoint and tie them all in together so that one can be successful and maintain the weight loss, or the body contouring, or whatever it is that they set out to achieve, but be able to maintain it because they'll understand what that looks like in an overall aspect.
Okay. Is this something that you've walked through yourself? Was it a process that you actually going through? There's so many coaches out there, and I say a lot of times that people, they see coaches, they see us doing the work, and so they go, "Well, I want to be a coach," and so they go get certified, but they don't have the life experience. And I think that that's what kind of counts and makes the passion of being a coach very essential when you actually could say, I've gone through this process already, and so I'm going to pull you along. Is this a personal, did you have this personal experience yourself?
I started as a student. I'm still a student. I started as a student. I've been doing this over 15 years. And I think your life experiences is often your best teacher. And I started my weight loss journey at the age of 16. I grew up overweight throughout my childhood, and I was resilient. I was motivated to do something about something in my life that I did not like. At a very young age, I was motivated to that capacity to join a health club on my own, using the money from my part time job. And I lost 40 pounds and I fell in love with fitness and I never looked back. And then at a young age, at the age of 19, they hired me to run the same facility in which I lost the weight at. So I began to help other people along their journey. So for me to have that strength and that resilience at a young age to do it all by myself, I knew from an early point in my life that I was meant to lead. I didn't know how I was going to do it per se, but I knew that I was meant to lead. So, going through a change like that myself, that was the first goal in my life. It was the first experience in my life where I felt that I had control to change something about myself or my life that I wasn't happy with. So, that was very empowering for me, and that was the first experience that I ever had like that. So the light bulb went off like, wow, if you don't like something in your life, if you don't like a situation, you have the ability to change it. And that was that what that experience was for me. And then I tapped in a little bit deeper. It wasn't just a physical change. The 40 pounds was great. That was the physical change, but there was an emotional change that also took place. My lack of self-esteem and lack of self-worth, it began to dissipate. I began to fall more in love with myself. I began to accept who I was, a lot more flaws and all. So that was that emotional inside out piece that I began to see a change in. And then once I saw the physical change and the emotional change and the self-esteem change, I said, wow, if I'm able to do this for myself, if I'm able to be a walking testimony, then that means that I should be able to apply the same principles and the same formula to help other people change. And that's how the student became the teacher.
Wow, that's awesomeness. I know that even in my walk and just trying to lose. Let me say that, we hit a lot of bumps, ups and downs. You have your successes one week and you have your downsides the next week. So how do you stay consistent when you hit a bump? Like, I don't know if you regressed at one point in time and then got back on track, or was it something that you just, okay, I'm focused in and this is my mindset and this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I have a few tools in my toolbox, and I always tell people you have to design and create your toolbox. My toolbox may look very different than your toolbox. You know what you're going to need to be your best self. So, in my toolbox lies my daily affirmations, my spiritual belief, and sermons and music and literature that I listen to or either read that keeps me motivated. My go-to when I'm falling off track is I know how to just press a reset button mentally and tell myself it's okay. You're working every day to be a better version of you.
Mhm.
So if you make mistakes, you have to sit back, acknowledge it, but also give praise and acknowledge the fact that you are a work in progress and you're constantly working to be a better version of yourself. So
Mhm.
I have slip ups, I have regressed, I've messed up, but I've learned to, instead of using a lot of energy to beat myself up, use that energy to acknowledge how far I've come and use that energy to press reset and say, you know what? Monday, I'm cleaning it up. I'm calling my trainer. I'm going back to that program, that boot camp, or whatever it is that I normally attend that has helped me to be successful. I'm just going back to all the principles and all of the activities and components of my journey that helped me before. I'm just going to tap back into that a lot deeper and with more energy instead of the beat up process. Because that beat up process, it just causes stagnation. It
Mhm.
causes, it doesn't, it demotivates you. It doesn't help you. So my thing is just hit reset. You're only human. You're gonna make some mistakes. Hit reset and just start it again.
So are you telling me that my cheat day is okay?
Your cheat day is okay if
Cheat
it
week?
is deserved. So I tell my clients, if you've worked out 2 times per week for an hour, because that is the goal that I try to set people up with, some less than that, depending on their ability and the time they have. If you have met that goal for the week, then you have earned a celebration or a cheat. But if you have not, then it might not be time to celebrate or to cheat because you haven't earned it. So by earning it is the balance. So let's say you set a goal out, you know what? during my lunch break, because that's all the time I can seem to find in my busy schedule, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes twice a week during my lunch break. If you do it, then now you can celebrate. If you didn't do it, maybe you shouldn't celebrate. Not just yet, okay? So it's just all about balance. You know, we're all human, we have desires, but along with the desires, I help my clients build willpower and to have more discernment and the ability to say, you know what? I don't need this today. I can go for a walk or a jog, or I can have a healthier option that can satisfy my taste buds and make me feel elated and happy. You know, just teaching them different lifestyle practices that can help them still enjoy, but also be successful along their journey.
That's awesomeness. So let me ask a question. Um, so what would you say, because I know you said you started your journey early, right? And so I'm sitting and I'm thinking, and what would you say to that child, or to even to their parent, right? In regards to if they have a child who's obese and they're dealing with low self-esteem, like what would you speak to them, or what would you say to them that could kind of help them to know? Because sometimes parents don't understand, right? We feed our kids, they always say you gotta make them eat, they gotta eat, or they may give them unhealthy snacks or something like that, but they don't see the kids can be cruel sometimes, right? So, and I say that because in schools, granted everything's virtual now, but you never know what your child is dealing with at school, right? And dealing with when it comes to other children. So what would you say to the parents of, like, if you had, and I don't know if you had dialect with your parents before you started your process, but what would you actually say to the parents of a child who's obese?
I got a lot to say.
Girl, say it.
Some of it ain't nice.
Go say it, because we need to hear that, right? A lot of times I dealt with certain things in my childhood, and I grew up with both of my parents, but it was a lot of things that they lacked to teach me. And so going to school, even though like they felt like everything was okay, I guess, because my work was getting done, but I dealt with a lot of being made fun of and talked about, because children don't understand what a home life is. And my parents probably didn't even know how to support that, because sometimes you're so wrapped up in your own stuff and you feel as long as I feed you, clothe you, you should be okay. And I may tell you that you're pretty sometimes. I may tell you that you look nice sometimes, but what would you actually, coming from that stance and actually experiencing it, right? What would you actually say to parents? And be real, girl, because they need to hear it,
Well, you have to remember, if the child is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, if they're a child or a young teenager, they don't food shop for themselves. They don't control the household. They don't control the behavior in the household. So first, before you have the beat up conversations, before you have the derogative comments, stop eating this, that, you have to understand that they're a child and they're not in control of all these things. So they look to their leader. Their leader is their parents. So every time I went to the doctor and I got a speech about being overweight, my mother still made fried chicken and French fries and hush puppies and fried fish for her fish fry on Friday night, every Friday night. And then on Sunday we had my family's from the South, we had the big Sunday dinner. So I get the speech about being overweight, but you are the one buying the food, the unhealthy food, and you're putting it in the house. So how can I do better if I don't know better? So when you have a child who's suffering from obesity, they're overweight, any of the above, unfortunately, whether you want to or not, mommy, daddy, grandma, whoever the caregiver is, you have to begin to lead by example and make changes. You can't give a speech to a child while you stuffing the wrong things down your mouth. And that's often what happens.
Yeah.
So now the child just feels bad about their choices and their behavior, but they're not really being shown anything better. That's number one. Number two, During childhood and adolescence, that is the most vulnerable time in a child's life, a person's life, a child's life, in terms of developing self-worth, confidence, and self-esteem. So that's not the time you want to attack. That's the time that you want to nurture. And you want to tell them that they're beautiful and they're worthy and they are, they are capable and they should be confident that they can do anything their heart desires. That's the time in their life that they need to be poured into the most, because we're building a foundation. So the negative comments, although you may think is just a small comment or a statement, it can hurt down to the core. And I remember those comments. And because of my resilience and my strength, I was able to turn that around and change my whole life and slap it all in the face. One comment after another, because I was snatched, honey. By the time I was 16, I lost 40 pounds. I went from a 12 to a 2. But I am the rare example. I am not the majority. For some, that type of trauma can really set the stage to obesity, lack of self-worth, lack of confidence, entering into adulthood that may take years and a lot of work to even attempt to change. So to summarize it all up, the early years of a child's life is the foundational period. That is the time when you need to pour into and build them up instead of knocking them down. So lead by example and be very mindful of your words, because that is the start of self-worth.
Yeah, that's so true. I think a lot of times I see parents and they have obese children, and they're like, well, my child is healthy. As long as they're healthy, they don't have any major health issues. And I don't think that they fully understand the trickle effect, or like when they get older, the issues that they may have then. I think that a lot of times food addiction is built at that age. And people just tend to deal with it. I didn't necessarily, me personally, I didn't have that. I started off smaller. I noticed that for me, when I'm stressed out, I gain weight. When I am happy, I lose. And I understand, like, kind of that position. I think that the latter years of my childhood, even going through that, and like you said, sometimes they say things and they're joking, or adults or uncles and aunties come over and they make comments and they think it's funny, and you kind of laugh too, but that thing will resonate with you like for a while, or it'll just pop up later, because where I'm expecting to be nurtured at, where I'm expecting to be my safe place. When I go to school, I hear it. And then when I come home, I hear it. When I'm around my family, I hear it. And so I don't think that parents really understand the trickle effect and how it could just linger.
Sometimes, parents are really truly just doing the best that they know how to do. And often a lot of things is generational. My mom grew up in the South on a farm, and she wasn't overly or even nurtured in the way that she should have been, in a normal, to a normal standpoint. So when she raised me, although she is a loving mom and I love her to death and I'm very grateful for her, she didn't know how to love on me the way that I really needed, because she never had it herself. So a lot of parents are really doing the best that they can, but whenever your child is going through something that you have no clue on how to approach, my go-to recommendations is just doing some research. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. Therapy, let's talk about mental health,
Yes.
seeking help from a therapist, a coach, a nutritionist. A lot of these services are covered by many health uh,
Mhm.
insurances. So the resources are out there. If you don't know how to approach it, it's okay to say, I don't know, but try to seek help, because at the end of the day, it's really going to make a difference in how you're setting things up for your child. And you'll be happy that you did seek that help later on.
So what are the best resources that you utilize, or that you would refer to? You don't have to give them all, but just maybe, 3, 4, if you have that many.
Yeah. Well, I'm different, right? That's why I do what I do, and I know I was meant to lead. My resources was mentorship, my faith in God, and my love for physical movement. Those were my three main resources. Some others may need additional resources, and that's okay. Um, Hiring a personal trainer or a lifestyle coach is one of my biggest recommendations. I've always had a personal trainer. I still do. My personal trainer is one of my mentors. I make sure that I seek help from a professional that I value, I respect, and I admire. So that is one of my mentors. Having mentorship is very important when you seeking change and or you want to stay on track for change, because that accountability is very important. It's going to help you when you've fallen off. It's going to help you press that reset button a lot faster. Okay, so number one, accountability coach. However you see fit, somebody that you value, you respect, who leads by example, that you can go to for strength, help, and pouring back into you when you feel depleted. All right. Exercise and things that naturally elate and stimulate the mood. When you work out, you release endorphins. They are hormones that make you feel elated, happy. They are the same hormones that are released during an orgasm. Okay. So you think about it. I'm pretty sure that's a happy experience for most people. It's the same thing with physical movement, believe it or not. Look it up. It's a proven thing. So you may dread that workout when it's happening, but when you're done, you will feel so much better. So, body movement, accountability coach, and some type of meditations, or if you have a spiritual belief and you believe in a higher being, um, working on that part of, yourself and your connection, or meditation, and or reciting positive affirmations, so that way you can consciously work on just, reciting things that are positive, working on the power of the tongue and the things that you say to yourself, and repeating them, and working on that connection. I think those three things are very important to keep the mind, body, soul, spiritual side connected, mind, body, spirit connected, and to help keep you grounded. So that's a lot in a
Yeah.
nutshell, but those are my three key things that I go to stay on track,
Mhm.
to remain my highest self. And I say all of that to say to people, stop trying to be your best on your own. That's
That's
not
good.
how it was meant to be. There are going to be people and things that are just going to pop up along your journey of change that are going to have the answers. If you believe in that change and you want it bad enough, that burning desire is going to attract the people and things that you need for that change to become a reality. So don't do it alone. Seek all the help that you can, because it's going to make a difference in how successful you are and how long you're able to maintain that success.
That is so true. I always say, like, we're helpers of one another, iron sharpens iron. And I always say that because we aim so much to be independent, but we're really created codependent, right? We depend on other things for our independency. So you can't really do it by yourself. I don't think people actually realize that. So who are your like three most influential people in your life, and
Um,
the impact that they've made?
okay. My very first trainer, Anthony Gibson, we go way back to 2000 and early 2000s. He was one of the first people who helped me realize that I can do amazing things beyond my expectations, beyond what I thought was possible. And it's funny, I'm speaking about my trainer, right? So here goes that piece that I just said. don't do this alone. Seek mentorship.
Yeah.
So I will never forget the mark that he left on my life in terms of what I was able to accomplish. My sister is one of my biggest motivators. My sister was an attorney by the age of 25. We both grew up in the urban ghetto with a mom who didn't go to college and a father who was addicted to drugs for a majority of our life. But she taught me that no matter how you start, that doesn't determine how you finish. And she was my role model. And looking up to her showed me that, well, if she could do it, we come from the same house, the same
Uh-huh.
mother, same father. If she could do it, then
And you could,
I gotta be able
yeah.
to do it. And I am so grateful for her just being that role model. So, third person or third thing. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my gosh. I must say that would have to be God and my spiritual relationship, because whenever I feel defeated and depleted, I know that all my steps have been ordered and they have been designed for me to accomplish what I have set out to accomplish. And at one point in my life, I didn't know my purpose, but I have been shown every sign possible to let me know that I am meant to serve and I am meant to lead and I am meant to pay it forward. So whenever I feel depleted, I just go right back to all the reasons why I know I should continue and why I'm doing this. So those are the three things: my first trainer, my sister, and my relationship with God.
That's awesomeness. That is really, really, really great. I'm over here like, it's a lot, especially, I think that's where a lot of people struggle at, when we're talking about fitness, especially when COVID hit. And then a lot of people really started thinking about their health and thinking about lifestyle changes and building up their immune system. And, even before that. And I think that, even how you talk about just the total body, coming into the totality of everything just kind of coming together, because you can't just work on the physical and the mental's not right and not really research out that part, right? Because I remember I used to work out, like I worked out like for like a few years ago. I used to go to the gym every day and work out and work on cardio. And I remember I had a traumatic experience during my workout, and I stopped working out at that time during that moment. And so every time after that, I try to work out again. I'm like, why can't I stay consistent? Like, what is the problem with working out? I love working out, right? But it wasn't until I had to go back and reflect and look at the trauma that happened in the course of, while I was working out, that once I dealt with that, then it made everything go smoother for me, right? And then linking up with the right people, the right trainers. You can't just have everyone training you, or because, this is what they're supposed to do, is actually linking up with the right person to really be that person to pour into you. Because sometimes you don't feel like working out, right? And sometimes you don't feel like running. Sometimes you don't feel like doing anything. I think I had like one of the most horrible trainers when I first initially booked a trainer, but then I had to understand that everybody is not for everybody. And
Yes.
so, just to know, like, don't give up even in the process of all of that. So, that's kind of great. I appreciate, all of that you've been saying. What advice would you give our listeners and our watchers just in regards to their journey, right? Because I already know I'm gonna call you when we finish, because I need something. Like, I do work out every day. I post my little pictures and stuff like that.
Good.
But sometimes, you just need that extra, sometimes you just need that extra push. And I know that a lot of people are struggling in that area. They don't want to go to the gym, or they feel a sense of embarrassment because they are, gyms can be very intimidating sometimes, depending on when you go. you see a lot of people working out. I've learned that a lot of people work out they do the wrong thing. Like people just go to the gym and they just start doing things without any type of structure. And so sometimes it can be very intimidating. So what advice would you give our listeners and viewers just in regards to their journey, where they may be at right now, something that's just where it could reach them where they're at?
My recommendation is when you're starting a journey of any kind of change, seek some guidance, seek some support group or a supportive partner or coach. And the reason why I say that is not to play up the investment in personal trainer, because I am one. But before I even had a desire to be a personal trainer, I had one. And one of the reasons why I wanted to become a personal trainer is because that person helped me tap into a part of myself that I didn't even know existed. It helped me tap into strength that I didn't even know that was in me. So when you work with somebody who really knows how to connect with people and is passionate about what they do, they are going to help you become passionate about what you are set out to do.
Yeah, that's good.
The reason why when we go to school, we want an education, we go to school. You want to advance your education, you go to college. You need mentorship. People are trying to tackle things on their own that they have no knowledge or experience in. When you want shelter, you don't just go and build a house if you don't have any carpentry or building experience.
Yeah.
Right? So why do people try to take on weight loss or trauma recovery or any of these self-journey type things all on their own? You don't approach other tasks in your life that way. So why do you feel like you got all the tools for this one? Stop thinking that, because you don't. And it's okay to say that you don't. And because the fitness industry and the self-care and the mental health industry has had so many advancements, there is resources on every level. There's resources available to every income level. There are resources that are free. I used to teach aerobic classes at my public library. It was free to every resident in that town. There are PALs, there are community centers, there are libraries. With COVID, a lot of things is virtual now. But what I'm trying to make reference to is there are a lot of free resources out there. There are a lot of inexpensive resources out there. So please don't take on this journey if you have no clue on where to begin, all on your own. Find some type of support group or person that can coach you, because what I do for my clients is I get them motivated. Every time they come see me, I smile and I am pumped up, and the only thing I'm missing is pom-poms. I am their cheerleader of self-wealth, self-change. I am their cheerleader for this thing that they dread. So when they leave me, they are not the same as they walk through the door. That's what you may need to be successful. You may need a cheerleader with pom-poms teaching you, pouring into you, loving on you, encouraging you, and letting you know every minute that you feel weak, that what is hard today is easy tomorrow. Letting you know you got this. Don't worry about this thing here. Together, we got this. I'm going to make sure that in 30 days, this thing is no longer hard for you. And that is what a good coach can do for you. And let me tell you something. I would never turn back to not having mentorship. As knowledgeable, as experienced, and as educated as I am in this area, I still have a trainer and a mentor. And I will always have one, because I know to remain my highest self that I need help, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's great. And I still have a coach as well. I always say a coach needs a coach, a mentor needs a mentor, and people just need mentorship as they journey along and as they go to their next. We don't know everything. at all. And so I wanted just to, yeah.
You don't have to, you know, when you are given a lot of who you are every day. If you are a parent, you give more than 50% of who you are to someone else every day. If you have a husband and a child or two, you are giving 75% of yourself away every day, plus a job, plus your responsibilities. So by the time you look at what's left for you, you're lucky if you have 20% left.
Yeah.
So who helps you refill and pour back into that glass that is pretty much depleted? That is going to come from the support that you have in your life. So a trainer, a coach, a support group, a mentor, whatever it is that you seek in terms of pouring back into that cup, you need to have what is going to pour back into that cup. I call that the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be what is in your self-care toolbox, because that cup is going to get empty and it's going to get dry. But you need to be able to pour back into that cup, replenish, restore that cup, and revive that cup so you can go back out there and do the things that you really love and that you want to do, while you're here on earth.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you need to restore, you need to replenish. And if you are having trouble doing that on your own, it's okay, because you're really not meant to do that on your own.
On your own. Yeah, that's so true. A few other resources, I know that you gave some, just for our listeners. You can always, if you're employed still, you can always check with your insurance, because a lot of times they offer discounted rates to gyms. If you have or utilize your FSA card, where they take a portion out of your check and they allot you a specific amount, I think the federal limit is like $2,000 or something pre-tax dollars that they'll upload onto a card, or your HSA. You can actually utilize that money not for coaching, but for like physical training, a fitness trainer, someone to walk alongside of you. Sometimes you may have to get a letter from your doctor to say that it's medical necessity, but you can utilize those funds. I know at the beginning of the year, when you sign up for a FSA card, the whole total amount is actually uploaded to the card. So you don't have to actually wait to use it. So that can be an additional resource for you to utilize. And then sometimes the insurances now, they have free programs or discounted programs and different things like that that you can always tap into. I think the thing is research. I did a show a few months back that was called Your Job and Your Perks, Your Benefits, Your Perks. And just to say, a lot of times we pay into stuff, but we don't really see or utilize the full benefits of it. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I know for me, I use my FSA card for when I go to the gym, or for when I go to, for my trainer. Of course, I had to go to the doctors, and he had to say it's medically necessary, it's a medical necessity that she works out, or, whatever, because she's obese. So that one extra step to help with the financing of something, because sometimes you don't see it. You don't see it in your budget. You're like, oh, I can't do this. But if it's not hitting your check and it's hitting the card, you're not going to miss it, if that makes sense, right? To everybody. So it's kind of like, okay, that money's going there. I'm not really seeing it when I get paid, plus it's pre-tax dollars. So it's an additional help, and it's just an additional resource and something to look into. I think some insurances even offer where you'll pay like $25 or $35 a month, which gives you access to multiple gyms. You don't really technically join the gym, but you'll be able to go to a gym and present them with that card and work out there. So it gives you the flexibility. If you're traveling, if you're somewhere else, you're out of town, you're not really isolated to one gym. You can actually utilize that. And like you said, there's a lot of people who do workouts in the park, and, especially now, and, things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of resources out there, especially when talking about being physically fit. Meetup is different people on that app where you can meet up with people, or y'all can go for a walk and just stroll. I think the thing is just to keep moving. And also, like you said, find that support, someone who's going to support you along your journey and not feed you Oreos when you see them and tell you that it's okay to eat, or
Yes.
I'm not gonna.
And,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and using a lot of the TV cable streaming apps and devices. A lot of them have fitness on demand. Now YouTube is a free resource as long
Yeah.
as you have internet access. So if you find that you're like, listen, financially, I don't have room in my budget for something like this. So then rely on free resources.
Yeah.
And you can call, I know 311 and then there, wherever you are, because people are just spread all around in different states, whatever community resource number or hotline number that you can find for your area. I guarantee you there will be some type of fitness options that they can present to you. With COVID, it may be some restrictions, but even a lot of those free options, they are streaming live for people to have access to. So if you don't know about free resources in your neighborhood, reach out to the local organizations and hotline numbers that you would reach out to for medical, help and advice and things like that. And you'll be surprised because most states and most local townships, they have allocated funds that they use yearly for things like this.
Mhm.
So you just may not know about it yet, but it may exist right in your backyard where you can get help along, for your lifestyle change and to get healthy. You may have resources right in your backyard that you just don't know about yet. So ask around, make some calls. Don't give up if it's something that you really want to do and you need some help.
So now it might be someone listening who might say, I'm not disciplined for that like me, right? I try some days and I'll be like, I need somebody on my heels or like to know that I have that accountability. So where can our listeners find you to locate you? If they go, you know what, I like everything she's saying. I need her to push me. I need that extra help. How can we find you and connect with you?
I am on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and my website. So you can find me. It's bodybytamika.com for the website, Body by Tamika on Instagram, Body by Tamika on Facebook, Body by Tamika on YouTube. So you can find me. I respond to everybody. I get back to people. I am always a ray of sunshine. I do a lot of things on a daily basis to be able to be that for people because I want them to get excited about change. And that's what I stand for. And that's what I believe in. So if you need help and you reach out to me, I will do my best to be that ray of sunshine to help you along your journey and to help you get excited and to help you feel empowered and to remind you that you are wonderfully made and you can do all the things your heart desires. You just might need a little push. And I can help you with that. And there are other great people out there that can do the same. So seek them, look for them, and start your journey to a better you. You'll be happy that you did.
Wow, I appreciate that. Even how you said it might be other people out there. There's a lot of people don't do that. They'll be like, oh, well, no, come to me, me, me. And I'm the same way. I was just telling my coach the other day, like, listen, if I feel like, because I handle people's lives doing trauma recovery, if I feel like it's too much, like I'm trained to handle anybody, any situation. But if I feel like the scope of things, if we're not a good fit or, whatever the case may be, even saying that. So I thank you for that. And I appreciate that, right? That shows a heart. Listen, I got my personal assistant's name is Tamika. My spokesperson's name is Tamika. I'm like, oh, we got a link.
Yes.
Tamika's in my life, right?
And this has been, a pleasure. And I thank you, for reaching out and having me on your show and just the people that I've been meeting along the journey. That's how I know that I'm meant to serve and to help people. You never know, who's going to show up that just help make that a reality. So if there's a goal that you have, don't think it's too big. Don't think it's too scary. Just set it out, and the people and things that you need, I guarantee you they're going to start showing up. It's
Yeah.
going to be that one friend that says, hey, did you hear about that new fitness group that started on Saturdays at 9 o'clock at the park? Is free, and you're going to be like, what? I was just looking for something like that. It's just going to start showing up. So you just have to first plant a seed, and don't be afraid of what that may be, whatever it is, whether it's a physical goal or a lifestyle goal or a job goal, whatever it might be. Just set it. Just set it. Don't be afraid of it. And the things that you need, they will start to show up. That has been my entire life. That has been the birth of my business. So I believe in it. So just try it. Try it.
Thank you so much. So I know you just gave so many nuggets, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, is there anything else that you could say to our listeners and to our viewers that can encourage? And I know you just did. I know that you said so much again, but you just seem like this just a ball of knowledge, and you got so much to pour out. Is there anything that you can, just leave our listeners with?
The affirmation that I recite to myself all the time, I'm pretty sure I said it to myself about 5 times yesterday. If you want something you've never had, you have to do things that you've never done. And the reason why I remind myself that over and over again is because I'm a big dreamer and I want so much in my life. I have to remind myself the reason why this journey is hard, the reason why you are beat down, tired at the end of the day while trying to achieve this journey is because you are doing something that you've never done, because you're trying to accomplish something you've never had. So when you start to look at it like that, then you know in your mind that a lot of it's not going to be easy because I've never done this and I've never had this. So I have to dig deep and I have to stay on course and remind myself why I'm doing this. So that way I can strap my boots up and be ready to endure what's next to come, because it's going to be something. So when you are working on progression and you're working to accomplish something that you've never had, just remind yourself that it's tough because I have to do things I've never done to acquire something I've never had.
Yeah.
And it has helped me, and I tell myself that all the time, and it works. It puts things in perspective for me.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we
Wow.
can help somebody.
Wow. 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 I apologize for that knocking. I'm over here like,
Okay.
what's going on over here? So sorry, listeners, if you guys heard that.
Just to recap,
Yeah.
if you want something you've never had, you
Yes.
have to do some things that you've never done.
Which you've never
And
done.
someone told me that before, or I read it in a book. Somehow, some way, it came across and came to my attention, and it stuck with me all this time. And that's what I go to all the time when I'm feeling depleted. I remind myself that this next step that you want is so great, is so big, is so magnificent that it's going to take some work. So it's coming. But
Yeah.
just know that because it's so big and it's something you've never had, tasted, felt, touched, been next to, is going to require that much more, because that's how big it is. And that's
Yes.
what I tell myself. So that big thing that you are thinking of and dreaming of is coming, but it's going to require some work. So if you don't know exactly how to get there, try to team up with some people that can help you. And you'll be surprised. They may be a friend, a neighbor, a family member, or somebody just sitting there waiting for you to ask for help.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tamika, again, for coming on and talking with me for this allotted time. Remember, you guys, go to her social media, go to her website, like, share, follow, share the information that you learned, follow this podcast, share this podcast out. She's given us so many nuggets, so much information. And I'm really super excited because releasing my secret is just people being able to reach back and to start to work on the inside and release those things and those issues and those traumas and those problems, and really just to begin the process of healing and walk into their process of change. And in doing that, we have to remember that healing doesn't mean that the damage never existed. It just means that the damage no longer controls our lives. So I want to thank you again, Tamika, for coming on. I so look forward to connecting with you. I've met some great people, but I definitely look forward to connecting with you soon in the near future.
Yes.
So thank you again.
Call away, a text away. So
I
feel
got you.
free. And hopefully we will do this again
Yes.
future and work on just reaching more people and just being that reset button and that ray of light for people to know that your past does not have to dictate your future. You
Yes.
can change the course of what is going to take place in your life moving forward with the right resources and the right help. So
Yes, yes. Thank you again. This is Coach Santeresa, and I am signing out of this recording and this episode. Thank you guys for listening and for tuning in. Tune in next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock for our next episode. Have a great day, a great evening, and take care.